This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, April 21st, but the year was 753 BC, when tradition says Romulus and Remus founded the city of Rome. It was on this day, April 21st, 1789, when John Adams is sworn in as first Vice President of the United States, 9 days before Washington would be sworn in as the first president. It was on this day, April 21st, 1820, when Danish scientist Ørsted is the first to identify electromagnetism when he observes a compass needle. It was on this day, April 21st, 1863, the Battle of San Jacinto, Texas, wins independence from Mexico. It was on this day, April 21st, 1865, that Abraham Lincoln's funeral train leaves Washington, D.C. It was on this day, April 21st, 1898, that the Spanish-American War is declared. It was on this day, April 21st, 1918, World War I, when German fighter ace, the Red Baron, was shot down somewhere in France by a Canadian pilot, Arthur Roy Brown. It was on this day, April 21st, 1956, that Elvis Presley's first hit record, Heartbreak Hotel, becomes number one. It was on this day, April 21st, 1986, that Geraldo Rivera opens Al Capone's vault on TV and finds nothing. It was April 21st, 1989, that thousands of Chinese crowd into Beijing, China's Tiananmen Square, watching and supporting students who are demanding political freedom. But that was April 21st in the past. This is April 21st, 2020. And almost overnight, masks have become a common sight in public places. Also, overnight, the nation is divided whether to comply or not. And it seems to be painfully divided in very familiar ways by politics and government power. Nurses clashed just yesterday with anti-lockdown protesters in Colorado, defiantly standing in front of the cars of demonstrators who flocked to the Capitol to protest against the state's stay-at-home orders. The demonstrators were mobilized by a number of social media outlets. They called for the governor to remove the restraints of shutdown. Other demonstrations are planned for Tennessee, Oregon, Illinois, California, Montana, and Washington State. Amid this growing unrest is the voice of Dr. Fauci, who is urging protesters not to demonstrate and arguing that a premature reopening would backfire. And so the role of government has changed also almost overnight. And so a huge debate is occurring right now between federal, state, and local authorities as to the power that each has. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says that posts and pages attempting to organize protests against the stay-at-home orders are banned as misinformation. A Facebook spokesman confirmed that planned protests in California, New Jersey, and Nebraska were having their pages removed from Facebook at the request of state authorities. At the same time, MarketWatch reports the next 45 days are the most critical period in U.S. financial history. The shutdowns from the virus have had a disastrous effect on theme parks. Six Flags stock has dropped 66%. Shares of SeaWorld are down 65%. The Walt Disney Company announced the furloughing of 100,000 non-essential employees. The move of the furlough will save Disney about $500 million a month in expenses. The Caribbean Development Bank is forecasting immediately a 50% plunge in tourism. And if this continues through the rest of the year, their prediction, 100% fall. Rosarito Beach, Mexico. Almost 1.5 million U.S. citizens live permanently in Mexico. Many have put their roots down in Baja California on the coast, particularly Rosarito Beach, about 20 miles south of the border. There are 15,000 Americans living there. And they are deciding right now whether to return to the United States or ride out the pandemic. Last month, the U.S. State Department issued an advisory urging all citizens abroad to return to the United States. It was a level 4, issued worldwide, and was the most severe warning ever issued by the department. Amazon, which is experiencing an unprecedented demand shift since the lockdown, will be reporting its first quarter revenues, which are estimated to be nearly 22% up in comparison to this time last year. That works out to sales of $10,000 every second. Every second of every day. Every second of every week. In the midst of the things that we can see, and the confusion and uncertainties and anxiety, there's also things that we cannot see, which perhaps are as real or more real than what we can see. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. This is Ken Smith reminding you, it happened today, April 21st, 2020.